Alright, so in the first video we were having issues with the bandsaw because it was kind of flimsy on the table. I wasn't really blaming it on the bandsaw, but I knew, and I just had a gut feeling that the set screw was the whole problem of the whole thing on that table, which I still believe should have been sent with the table. It shouldn't be an option. They immediately fixed it when I called. They sent it out the same day. The company is really good. So, and it's just what I expected, because that's what I heard about all their sales and all their reviews, which is why that little table was picked up. So, did that little set screw work? Let's find out. Alright, so I don't know if you guys remember, I told y'all this was one of the pieces of plywood that that little swag table was cut on. This has been cut to the size that it needs to be. And we are actually going to screw this down to the table. It's already been cut to size so that it fits, because you really cannot use it when you have something on here and you're pressing on it, it's moving back. So it really doesn't work. So we got to put some little anchors on here to hold it down. And then the base is made just so you can clamp it to whatever area you're going to be using on. It's not really to hold it. It's just so I don't have metal to metal scratching. So we'll clamp this down once I bolt this on. So let's get this bolted on first. Alright, so no special tools here. All we're going to do is use a 5/16 bit with a rigid drill. And even though these are self-tappers, they still work. These are the ones I bolted it down to paint it anyway. It's all good. Number 3. Number 4. And that's it. Now, let me show you how this gets bolted down. Just a standard clamp. You can use a C-clamp, you can use whatever you have that's gonna work. And it's tight. And just so you can see, this is the set screw it comes with. This is the one that does not. So they sent me that one. And what we're going to do is, looks like this. I'm not going to focus with one hand. But it just screws on like the other one. And then you're going to get your bandsaw on there and adjust it. So let's do that now. So once again, setup is really easy. Let's hope the sawzall don't fall down again. Got all the little pieces you need. Then you get your sawzall. Make sure your bracket's extended. Got your little clamp. Goes underneath. Once you got that tight, hand tight. It doesn't have to be really severely tight. Then you get your Allen head that comes with it. Let me get a 1, 2, 3 block. So you get your 1, 2, 3 block. You have solid ones and you have the one with holes. Let me do some adjustment here. Alright, so I know you can't really tell from the angle you're at, but I can tell that the saw is too far this way. So obviously you want to tighten down your first screw, set screw, and watch that blade move over. Until you know it's a little nice and tight. Then you're going to go to the second one because it's still a little bit to my left, which I did on purpose. That way when I tighten it over here, it's going to put more force on it, straighten it out, and then it's going to be solid. Exactly like that. Now this thing is super straight and super solid. It doesn't even move. If I move the top, it moves. If I move it here, hold on. If I move it from up here, look at that. There is absolutely no movement anymore. So, let's get something to cut. Okay, and before I start, I'd also want to say, read your instructions when you buy this, because when I bought it and I had it in here, it was kind of wobbly, like almost very wobbly. Thing is you have to tighten up these Allen head screws to expand these little plastic spacers. And what that's going to do is when you set it in there, it takes the gap out of it. So there's no space for it to move left and right. So you get a solid forward and reverse. Alright, so let's start off with some simple stuff. This is like a 10 gauge piece of angle iron. We'll cut this. And also thanks to somebody that left a comment, they said it was good to go with a 14-18 blade. I did switch the blade, and I tell you what, it cuts through aluminum a whole lot quicker than that 24 tooth did, because it kind of like took forever. So I know it's going to cut it quick. We'll see how it does on steel, and then the last thing we cut will be a 4-inch cold air intake tubing. So let's try this out. Alright, so let's do the test. Super straight cut. I knew it was that set screw. I knew it the whole time. So, cuts angle iron easy. Let's get something maybe a little thicker. I forget what gauge it is, but you can see it's pretty thick. Alright, so it ain't long enough to go on the miter or guide, so I'm just going to freehand it. I'm not going to try to cut it straight, but I just want to see how fast it'll cut this thick pipe. Actually, this side is closer than this side. Look at that. Alright, so let's try this again. Alright, so I had already started crooked. Like I said, I knew it wasn't going to cut straight because it was already crooked. But it cut it pretty quick. So I'm happy with that. Pretty happy with that. Alright, let's grab something else. I got a piece of 10 gauge angle aluminum. Let's see how this cuts. Straight as can be. I'm happy with that. About an even thicker piece of aluminum. You can see how thick that is. I don't know if it focused or not, but it's a good large size pipe. Clean cut. Good for me. That's pretty thick. It's pretty quick too. So I'm happy with that. Alright. So let's do what we need to do here and cut the bigger piece of cold air pipe. See how that comes out. Alright, so I got the cold air intake piece. I put a piece of tape on it. The tape is probably not as square or as perfect as it should be, but this is just for demo purpose for you guys. And I'm going to put it on here and see if it's going to cut just as straight as it's supposed to. So obviously the teeth does make a difference, 14 to 18. And they cut it pretty darn straight. Like I said, the tape was off a little bit, but this is a cut. This is how a cut's supposed to be. So put it together very easily. You can weld this piece on there, or however, whatever cut piece you got. This is the cut you want. This is a straight cut. You can see it in all crazy. So, what are my thoughts? My thoughts are what they were before. This is a cool little table for this bandsaw to cut pieces of whatever you want. You can even cut flat plate with this. It doesn't have to be round or angle iron or round pipe or whatever. You can cut square plate, whatever you have. It's what it's for. Let's take a look at what actual gap we have from this to see how much cutting space we have. So when you don't have the table on here, you have 5 inches from this end to the other end. When you have the table on here, you're going to have five and 7/8. That's a whole lot. That's still a whole lot of, I don't know if you can see it. That's still a whole lot of space for you to do whatever you want to do. I'm sorry, you have 4 and 7/8, not 5 and 7/8. You have 4 and 7/8, but it's a 5-inch hole. Alright, so my conclusion, would I buy this with my own money? Yes. If I needed it, I'd buy it with my own money. It's that good. I knew it was because I saw a lot of reviews on it. Like I said, that was the culprit the whole time, was the set screw that goes in the back. They only give you a screw for one. The Miter V27 Incra, I think it's very worth it. Like I said, even these are adjustable. This is not a cheap miter. The base, you can either bolt this down to a piece of metal, to a table, whatever you have, or you can put it on a piece of board and use a clamp, and then you have adjustability of wherever you want to take this table, and you ain't got to worry about it moving, period. So, all in all, I really think it's worth it. It's a cool little tool. We're doing cool little things. Alright folks, if you like this video, please leave a comment or please leave a thumbs up. That'll help the channel to come up with more stuff. I'm not getting paid for this, just asking for help. That's all. Appreciate it, thank you, and have a great one.